We at the CPR Worldwide Media Network, your constitutional patriot radio station, would like to take a moment to reach out to a portion of our listening audience. To the NSA, the mainstream media, to liberals masquerading as conservatives who would like to see us off the air, and to those who are spinning their wheels trying to take us down, we have a special message just for you. At the CPR Worldwide Media Network, we're happy to be your 24/7, 365 obsession because, while you have your little panties in a wad, we're speaking truth to power, telling real conservatives what you don't want them to hear, the truth, and we're not gonna stop. Now then, back under your collective bridges with the rest of your fellow trolls, and oh yes, thanks for listening to CPR.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Has come for our voices to be heard, for our borders to be secured, and our immigration laws enforced. Welcome to the Ruthie Report. Let's start the show in the correct fashion. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the Ruthie Report. Our guest this evening at the top of the hour is going to be Dave Gibson. Dave is formerly of the Examiner and now reports for Universal Free Press and the Illegal Alien Crime Report. He has worked as a freelance writer for many years, covering immigration, politics, and crime. He once made a living working on Republican campaigns and served as a legislative aide to a Virginia state senator. He is a frequent contributor to several radio shows, including the Ruthie Report and Talk Back with Chuck Wilder. He is also the author of a book with Laura Leighton titled Replacing Americans, the Deadly Consequences of an Open Border with Mexico. Now, what we are going to discuss tonight is three main objectives. One is the Department of Homeland Security's Haitian Family Reunification Parole Program. I kid you not, it's an ice cream headache already. Second, we are going to discuss is the stats of the child sexual assaults at the hands of illegal aliens in North Carolina, from where Dave resides. And folks, the numbers are just simply frightening. They really are. The last thing, besides, the whole issue of illegal immigration itself that we will talk about tonight, is Dave's never-ending reporting of crimes committed by illegal aliens that is keeping all of us, you and I, informed. I would just like to thank him our thanks and our gratitude for his reporting day in and day out of this out of control lawlessness. Dave, again, will join us at the top of the hour. Now, before we go, I just wanted to take a second tonight and thank you. Thanks to all of you, the listeners. That, for you, is the reason that I do this show, the Ruthie Report, is to keep you informed, educated, activated, and I hope I motivate you. That's the reason for the show, and I'd like to thank you. Now, we are going to take a quick 3-minute commercial break. When we return, we are going to jump into lead stories, and I have so much news tonight, we're going to just fly. So please stay tuned. We will be right.
How are things with the new guy?
All we do is go out to dinner.
That's it?
I mean, he picks up the tab every time, which is great.
Why? He's using you. He probably has a city thank you card and he gets 2 times the points at restaurants.
So he's just racking up points with me.
Some people.
Ugh.
No, I got it.
The Citi Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on dining out and entertainment with no annual fee. To apply, go to Citi.com/thankyoucards.
The design of the Ford Escape is clearly intended to grab your eye. Oh, and your foot. Huh, ain't that a kick? The Ford Escape with the foot-activated liftgate. Go open up something interesting. Go further.
The moment you connect, you're no longer in control.
What does this guy want? No claim, no statement.
We're facing a nuclear meltdown.
This is only the beginning.
Black Hat, rated R.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Welcome back to the Ruthie Report. Now let's go ahead and jump into lead stories real quick here. Let's start the show this evening with some really good news. This is from WorldNet Daily, dated the 17th of February. Federal judge halts Obama's amnesty orders. A federal judge in Texas on Monday granted a temporary injunction halting Obama's executive order-driven, because there is no executive order, order-driven amnesty program. The ruling from U.S. District Judge Andrew Hayden ordered the government not to proceed with any portion of the deferred action for parents of American and lawful permanent residents known as DAPA. In his order, the federal judge said that the court found at least one of the plaintiffs has satisfied all of the necessary elements to maintain a lawsuit and to obtain a temporary injunction. The injunction is until, and these are the sticklers in this. The injunction is until a final resolution of the merits of this case or a further order of this court, the United States Court of Appeals, Fifth Circuit, or the Supreme Court, the judge ordered. Hayden also ordered the federal officials and agencies that are further enjoined from implementing any and all aspects or phases of the expansions to the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, known as DACA. Now notice right there, folks, that it said any of the expansions. There is a problem right now. Many are confused by what this really means. It means that the DACA that's already in place cannot be touched, but it cannot expand. That is what he is saying. House Speaker Boehner's reaction was that now the ruling has been made that the Democrats should end their opposition to the spending bill and fund the Department of Homeland Security. Now we all know that Congress is on vacation this week, but there has been absolutely no indications from the Democrats to a change on their position. In Austin, Texas Governor Greg Abbott said, and I quote, "President Obama advocated his responsibility to uphold the United States Constitution when he attempted to circumvent the laws passed by Congress via executive fiat. And Judge Hayden's decision tightly stops the president's overreach in its tracks. It is one of the two pending cases challenging Obama's amnesty. The other, developed which was first, was thrown out at the district court level, but now it is fast-tracked before an appellate court in Washington, D.C. It was filed by an attorney, Larry Klayman, with a K, not a C, of Freedom Watch on behalf of Sheriff Joe Arpaio of Maricopa County, Arizona. The Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, said that the decision was a victory. He said, quote unquote, and a crucial first step in reining in Obama's lawlessness, end quote. Now, in the accompanying 123-page memorandum, Handon wrote about the state's interest in not allowing their own resources to be drained by the constant influx of illegal immigrants. He found states ultimately bear the brunt of illegal immigration. He noted the reality of the situation, saying, and I quote, "When apprehending illegal aliens, the government often processes and releases them only with the promise that they will return for a hearing if and when the government decides to hold one. In the meantime, the states, with little or no help from the government, are required by law to provide various services to this population." End quote. He continued, "It is indisputable that the states are harmed to some extent by the government's action and inaction in the area of immigration." Yes! So, we have a victory. Whether it stands in the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit in New Orleans, or if it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, a victory, folks, is still a victory. Illegal aliens and their supporters are just livid, much like we have been fighting this lawlessness day in and day out. Only we do have the law on our side. One must wonder if these illegal aliens and their supporters are aware that their savior, do they know that their savior, Barack Obama, never signed an executive order? Do they know that? Instead, having the Department of Homeland Security put forth a memo. A memo, by the way, with a timeline. I, for one, will take whatever victory we can get while fighting forward for the return of the rule of law. Fighting forward for what is best for the American citizenry and this nation, not illegal alien foreigners. And with 26 states demanding it be stopped, let's get proud and loud and show our support. Now, please do stay alert and engaged. The thought in Washington is that this will be heard immediately at the Fifth Circuit in New Orleans. And it really doesn't matter, quite frankly, with how it comes out. Some say it's going to be reversed. Others say it's smooth sailing. It is interesting, however, at the website, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, on their guidelines, this is what is posted when you pull up their homepage. Update. Due to a federal court order, USCIS will not begin accepting applications for the expansion of DACA on February 18th as originally planned. The court's temporary injunction issued February 16th does not affect the existing DACA. Individuals may continue to come forward and request an initial grant of DACA or a renewal of DACA under the guidelines established in 2012. Please check back for updates. Now, I did ask, and I put out there, and I asked a few people to comment what they thought about this. Robert P., I like his. I'm going to read his right off the get-go. It says, I want to thank all the illegals who followed Obama's orders and signed up for driver's license and applied for his amnesty. We now have your names and addresses so we can round you up and deport you at little cost to the USA. DG says, love this. Finally, someone with some power will stand up for Americans. God bless you. RB says, America thanks you, talking to the judge. SK says, a true American. And DJ, another DJ, says, thank you, Judge, for doing what each and every other judge was afraid to do. God bless you and your family. You know, there are some that are posting a question out there about why are we happy about this injunction. Yes, it is a temporary injunction. We all know that. It is not a final ruling. But with that said, many of us are still celebrating the fact that this judge, Judge Hayden of Texas, did what he did, and we are grateful. Now it goes to the Fifth Court of Appeals in New Orleans to be heard rather quickly, I would assume. And the outcome really is a moot point at this point, because one side or the other is going to take it to the Supreme Court. And they do not want to hear this. They are going to drag their feet. So in essence, what I see, unless, either way, no matter how the Fifth Circuit rules on this, in essence, the injunction, for all intent and purposes, is the best we will have prior to the 2016 elections. I may be wrong, but that's the way I see it right now. Please contact Judge Hayden with your words of thanks and gratitude. You can look it up online. He is out of Texas, out of the United States Courthouse in Brownsville, Texas, and his number is 956-548-2591. The numbers are listed right there if you look it up. Now, Ted Cruz of Texas, one of the main opponents of amnesty, per WorldNet Daily, said that this is a major turning point in the fight to stop Obama's lawless amnesty. And Judge Napolitano said that he believes the courts will uphold the judge. Good news indeed. Now, moving on. Well, what do you think the other side is thinking of this? This is from NBC News. It says, hopes on hold. Dreamers vent anger over immigration ruling. Stephen Artiga phoned his mother in the late hours to tell her to put her hopes on hold. A judge had blocked Obama's immigration executive action. He said, I called her last night to let her know. He is a volunteer with the advocacy group My Familia Vota. He obtained protection from deportation in 2012, Obama's program, and that was not challenged in the state's lawsuit. She is really disappointed, he said. She was going to apply. Artiga is one of the 6 young immigrants who met with Obama earlier at the Oval Office about his executive actions. At the meeting, he said, criticized Greg Abbott for filing the lawsuit, which 26 states have now. 25 other states have joined. Many of the activists who pushed Obama to take the executive action were refusing to consider the judge's decision permanent and were pushing back by telling immigrants to go forward, preparing to apply for deportation, deferrals, and, of course, work permits. Jean Yeka Diouf, I have no idea how to pronounce that. He said he assured us that he worked with lawyers and they looked at every possible angle where it could be challenged, he said. He was heading to study for international business exam on Wednesday, but he said he'd be informing members of the community to continue preparing to apply for the deferrals. I've read a lot of heart-tugging articles on how many of the illegal aliens have their paperwork prepared. Well, if that is the case, then why didn't they prepare their paperwork before and enter legally? The answer is because they did not want to play by the rules, to get in line and wait, or possibly be denied. Instead, they spit, the majority of them, on our laws and entered illegally. And now they want to be rewarded for their actions, jumping in line of those who are still in their homeland playing by the rules. If you have all of your paperwork ready, great. Go home and then, with those papers, apply to enter legally. Be checked and screened and found admissible, and then enter illegally. If you don't want to do that, you just do not want it bad enough. Or should I say, legally. After all, to those that are screaming mad about the whole thing, after all, it is by your own actions that you find yourself in this situation to begin with. I wonder, here's a question for you all to kind of ponder on. Do you think that these illegal aliens believe that they are just that special? Or are they just being misled and naive? We the people, have been asking our politicians to stop illegal immigration, enforce our laws, and secure the border, many since 1986, and look where it's gotten us. So the bottom line is that the politicians going to listen to illegal alien foreigners spitting on the rule of law when they won't listen to the American people? Something to think about. Moving on. Luis Gutierrez. This is by Rick Wells, and I like the rate that he writes, but he really gets right to it. This is by Rick Wells. You can find him at www.rickwells.us. Representative Luis Gutierrez, a militant man of the people, the illegal Latino people, warns of retaliation against the American citizens. This is dated today, the 19th. Luis Gutierrez, he says, is the Latino version of Al Sharpton. He's a racist tool of Marxist Obama regime being used to destabilize America and to usher in the new and improved replacement population. He is a militant activist working aggressively to bring about our fundamental transformation away from a representative government to an authoritarian tyranny. He exposed his revolutionary side in a brief interview with MSNBC, which probably if nobody would have reported on this, nobody would have seen, with a fellow Latino activist, Jose Diaz-Balart. He demonized the patriotic Americans for not rolling over and accepting our dedicated fate, the erasure of our national borders, and with them our sovereignty. It is abundantly clear from his comments that our fight to defend our nation is far from over. Gutierrez criticized and warns that the Republican Party is making a critical mistake. The militancy that will be activated throughout the immigrant community in terms of voter registration, voter participation, voter anger at the Republican Party as a party in the United States. He said, I think you're going to see it in an unprecedented manner, end quote. He threatens, look, you may think you've won, but your victory is going to be short-lived, and November 16th is coming right around the corner, and this will come back to haunt you. He warns of impeding voter fraud, marches in the street in Ferguson-style rebellion and dissent. Rick goes on to say, the little cockroach might be surprised to learn that the law-abiding citizens of the United States have a limit as to how much of an assault upon their nation they will tolerate in the interest of civility before meeting fire with fire. He and his illegal agitators need to shut the hell up. This is our country, and we aren't going to give it away to demanding squatters just because some communist thinks it's the right thing to do. The communist agitators, Rick concludes with, are determined to push us beyond our limits, thereby forcing the chaos that they seek as a means of creating the unrest which is a necessary component of their authoritarian takeover. They need to be careful what they wish for. End of article. You know, what more could I possibly say to that besides bring it on? Show your true colors. I have such disdain for that man. I just can't hardly stand it. If I had $1 for every time I've said that. Moving on. There are 2 states that have just made a big, huge move to stop illegals from getting driver's license. This is from conservativetribune.com, dated the 16th. Liberals in 2 western states are pushing to allow illegal immigrants to have the same rights as citizens who follow the law. But lawmakers have a plan to stop it. Republicans in both Colorado and New Mexico are trying to pass bills that would defund or completely repeal these policies. Just days ago, the State Senate of Colorado passed a bill that removes $166,000 in funding that was earmarked for the DMV program. Those DMV offices have been providing driver's license to aliens, even if they are in the country illegally. By cutting the requested funding, conservatives are trying to send a very clear message. The vote was 19 to 16. A similar situation is developing in New Mexico. The state house just voted to invalidate a decade-old law that allows illegal aliens to be issued driver's license. Again, the Republicans were by far the strongest supporters of the change in law, and the bill passed by a bigger margin of 39 to 29. 2 Democrats actually joined in on that. 10 states and the District of Columbia now allow illegal immigrants, aliens, to obtain some kind of driver's license or authorization card, with 7 of those laws being passed in 2013 per the Times. Good news again. Okay, let's see here. We're so much news, I can't hardly get it all out. There is a great article that you might want to look up. It is posted at Yahoo, and this is the title. Please do look it up by title. Constitution check. Is the president's new immigration policy already a constitutional dead letter? This is written by Lyle Denniston at the National Constitution Center's Constitutional Literacy, and he's a literacy advisor there. Again, the title is Constitution Check. Is the president's new immigration policy already a constitutional dead letter? Let's see here. The LA Times actually concedes now that serious diseases are being brought in from Mexico and Central America, which is amazing. That is amazing. And This is posted from Breitbart, dated the 15th. It says that even the liberal San Francisco Chronicle editorial board had to concede that since current laws allowed recipients of deferred action to apply for certain government services and health and human services, that would mean a new and potentially costly strain on the programs. Where is this at? This is a study and the title is Executive Amnesty Will Strain California Budget. Illegals eligible for Medi-Cal and cash assistance. I kid you not. Illegal immigrants who receive Obama's executive amnesty, there is no executive amnesty, will put a costly strain on the California budget according to studies from the Legislative Analyst's Office, a nonpartisan group that advises state lawmakers on fiscal and policy issues. Okay, I'm going to just say it again. First of all, there is no executive amnesty. Obama signed nothing. It is all through memos through Jay Johnson at the Department of Homeland Security. Second of all, they're not undocumented immigrants. They're illegal aliens. But this is going to play out through all of the states, folks. It's not just California. This article is on California, and you should look it up to get all the numbers. But this is going to get us all. And it is you and I who are going to pay the tab, either at a state level or at a federal level. But here's my question. Why does Jerry Brown, epic failure Obama, and other pro-illegal alien politicians and governors, etc., believe that they have the right to take our money and give it to the lawless? I do not understand that. Folks, now is the time to be heard. Now is the time. All right, we're going to have to save this one on the Syria refugee program. Maybe we'll get to that with Dave, seeing we are going to talk about the Haitians. We are going to take our second break. When we come back, we are going to have tonight's criminally and or insane segment and some just really disturbing stuff. Please stay tuned, folks.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
You know what happens when we take away the late fees and penalty rate? No one misses them. The City Simplicity Card is the only card that never has late fees, a penalty rate, or an annual fee. Ever. Go to city.com/simplicity to apply.
The design of the Ford Escape is clearly intended to grab your eye. Oh, and your foot. Huh, ain't that a kick? The Ford Escape with the foot-activated liftgate. Go open up something interesting. Go further.
The moment you connect, you're no longer in control.
What does this guy want? No claim, no statement.
We're facing a nuclear meltdown.
This is only the beginning.
Black Hat, rated R.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Welcome back to the Ruthie Report. Thank you for tuning in. That signals tonight's criminally and or insane segment, and I have much to get to. This is the insane winner of the week. It is by Breitbart. It is dated the 18th of February. The title is Amnesty Injunction Saddens Mexico and Central America. I kid you not, folks. Mexico and Central American nations were saddened that the federal judge temporarily halted Obama's executive amnesty on Monday evening. According to the Guardian report, the Honduran presidential advisor Marvin Ponce reportedly said that although we respect this decision as part of the United States' internal legislation, it is evidence of the fact that there are certain political sectors trying to torpedo the decision that would help to alleviate the social and economic pressures that buffet our countries. Mexico's foreign minister, according to Reuters, reported that Obama's executive amnesty was a just migration solution for millions of families that could reinforce that significant contributions of Mexican migrants to the American economy and society. To their pocketbooks is what it really is. And Guatemalan's foreign minister reportedly said that it was saddened by the judge's injunction and recommended that the Guatemalan community keep itself informed, prepared, and doesn't allow itself to be surprised by unscrupulous people and organizations who might try to abuse their good faith. Oh, please! Good faith! El Salvador reportedly urged America to pass comprehensive amnesty legislation. Well, you know what, folks? Why are we concerned? Why is the United States concerned with other governments' thoughts on how we conduct our business? Funny, isn't it? Isn't it funny how these governments slam the United States for standing up for the rule of law, but fail to comment on why they're not taking care of their own citizens? Not commenting on why their citizens are fleeing their homeland instead of invading ours. Why we, the American people, should even be responsible for their citizens, the ones that they do not want. You know, I'm positive, I'm just sure that they would have absolutely no problems with millions of Americans invading their countries, demanding a pass with all the perks, right? And they're going to pay for it, right? I want Guatemala's health care, and I want it free, and I want it adequate, and I want this much money, and I want my housing, and I want my food, and I'm sure Guatemala would have no problem with that. That, folks, is what separates us from them. We don't want to go there. We don't expect them to pay for it. Unbelievable. All right. I did have a patriot email me a question, and it dawned on me that many of you might not know the answer to this. So here's the question. Why can't the American citizenry sue the government? And I think it's a good question. The reason is this. It's called sovereign immunity in the United States. Sovereign immunity in the United States is a legal privilege by which the American federal, state, and tribal governments cannot be sued. Local governments in most jurisdictions enjoy immunity from some form of suit, particularly in tort. Foreign governments enjoy immunity from suit as provided in the Foreign Sovereignty Immunities Act. In the United States, the federal government has sovereign immunity and may not be sued unless it has to waive its immunity or consent to be sued. The United States, as a sovereign, is immune from lawsuits unless it unequivocally commits to being sued. Nonsense, but that is why, folks. Moving on. Here is more rudeness and acting out and borderline lawless behavior at the hands of the lawless. This is by cnsnews.com, dated the 18th. Pro-immigration protesters tell GOP lawmakers that we will confront your racist sentiments. Oh, jeez. While pro-immigration, and it's not pro-immigration, it's pro-illegal immigration is the crap they're pushing, but the article says pro-immigration. Groups protested at offices of several GOP lawmakers last week. Others interrupted a House subcommittee hearing, telling lawmakers that they will confront your anti-immigrant and racist sentiments. During the February 11th Subcommittee on Immigration and Border Security hearing on immigration enforcement legislation, protesters stood up and alerted GOP lawmakers that pro-immigration supporters were headed to their offices. They said, quote, unquote, "And we are letting your staff and visitors know that when you attack immigrants, you are attacking America. We will continue to be calm and confront you against your anti-immigrant and racist sentiment," one protester yelled out. Subcommittee Chairman Trey Gowdy called for the protesters to be removed. You know, folks, this is a prime example. It just goes to show what happens when you allow the lawless to run amok. This is what happens. Demand and threats. And these are the people that our representatives are pandering to instead of working and hearing from the citizens of this great nation. Quite frankly, I am so tired of the overused, name-calling, 5th grade level stuff. The racist, the anti-immigrant, it's anti-illegal. First of all, get it right. And it just shows that they have nothing to stand on, and we must resort to this kind of behavior. When I call them illegal aliens, I am calling them correctly because that's what they are. Factual and correct. The GOP better wise up because we have had enough. And another thing, if the politicians continue to cave and pussyfoot around this lawlessness in the nation, just where will their demands by these people who should not be here in this country in the first place, where will their demands end? Are they just going to keep giving them everything that the lawless keep demanding? Are our politicians that big of a bunch of sissies that when they get called a name they can't stand it and they're going to give them that? Well, hell's bells, if that's all it took, maybe they should read some posts that we have about them. The only difference is we know how to behave ourselves. To those making these kinds of threats and demands and have the child behavior of a 5th grader, please just go home. Make your demands on your own country. Gee. Moving on. This is from Illegal Alien Crime Reporter by Dave Gibson, our guest this evening, dated the 17th. McAllen, Texas. Federal agents arrested near the Texas border a Mexican murder suspect illegal alien. The man is wanted for murder in Houston. Agents with the U.S. Border Patrol working near the rural community of Encino encountered a group of illegal aliens at a ranch and arrested them. Once in custody at the Falfurra station, agents were able to identify one of the men in the group as 24-year-old Emilio Carvanes Gonzalez. According to information provided by Breitbart, Texas, by Houston police, he is wanted by their investigators for a January 29, 2014 shooting murder of Esmin Urzola Ortiz outside of a Houston bar. After the shooting, Houston's homicide detectives believed that he fled to Mexico and considered him a fugitive until this recent arrest in South Texas. You know what this means? Really, put it simply, back to Mexico after he murders somebody, and then easily back into the United States over that unsecured border. Unbelievable. And we are supposed to believe the border's more secure than ever. And this is from the Monitor, dated the 18th, McAllen, Texas. A fugitive wanted for aggravated sexual assault on a child was arrested after being on the run for 2 weeks, the police say. Jose Antonio Moreno, 49, was arrested outside a Stripes convenience store on Wednesday about 7 p.m., San Juan Police Chief Juan Gonzalez said. Moreno, of course, fled to Mexico over that unsecured border after finding out that he was wanted for sexually assaulting a child under the age of 10. We found out that he had crossed back earlier in the day from Mexico through surveillance, and we caught up with him pumping gas into his car. Moreno is scheduled to be arraigned for first-degree felony on Thursday at the San Juan Municipal Court. Additional charges could be added related to the case, seeing it is a continuous sexual assault of the same child. You know, folks, this is how secure our southern border is. He sexually assaults a child, goes across the border, comes back, and is pumping gas when he is arrested. Good God! How long did he sexually abuse this child before he went to Mexico? It is just another one of them jumping across the border at will. Next, illegal alien murdered 6-month-old baby in North Carolina. This is by Dave Gibson, dated February 16th at Universal Free Press. On Thursday, detectives brought Jorge Giovanni Ecidvio, 31, back to Raleigh to face murder charges. The suspect has been on the run since 2013 and was finally apprehended by U.S. Marshals in Virginia. Oh, isn't this wonderful? Just kind of all across the place, huh? On October 3rd, 2013, he was babysitting a 6-month-old boy in a trailer park on Stony Brook Drive when the infant suffered severe head trauma. ABC 11 reported that the baby looked purple. I saw in the ambulance they were giving it CPR where they were patting him down, said the neighbor, John Mirans. I was worried why they were still standing there and not rushing to the hospital. So I was thinking there was nothing that they could maybe do. The baby, named Jaden, was transported to Duke Hospital in Durham, where he died the following day. Avicito originally told police that the baby had fallen off the bed, but its injuries were simply not consistent with that type of fall, and the illegal alien quickly fled the area. Ecidvio has been charged with murder and is currently being held in the Wake County Detention Center without bond. Oh, and moving on. This is from SanAngeloLive.com, dated the 16th. Police arrest a Mexican national videoing women in a Walmart bathroom. A 32-year-old Mexican national has been arrested in San Angelo for improper photography or visual recording after taking video of a female victim in the Walmart bathroom. At approximately 6:24 on February 14th, San Angelo police were dispatched to Walmart for a subject taking video recordings of a 45-year-old Hispanic female while she was in one of the bathroom stalls. The victim alerted Walmart staff of the incident. Walmart staff then made contact with the male suspect, Jose Santos Arguta, in the woman's restroom. While in one of the bathroom stalls, the victim could see a cell phone on the floor of the stall and could see herself on the screen. The victim realized that she was being video recorded and reported it. Arguta allowed officers to look in his phone at the videos. Officers located a video of the victim in the bathroom on the phone. He was arrested for improper photography and visual recording and transported to the Tom Green County Jail. A Border Patrol hold has also been put on him, seeing that it has been later learned that he is in the country illegally. My head is going to explode. These are the individuals that the Democrats, a few Republicans, and this administration are working so damn hard to reward and have live amongst us. It is pathetic. Pathetic. And we are the ones paying the price. And if that doesn't toast your muffins, this is the one we are going to read. I have two more, but we have to get to this one. We'll get to the last one if time allows. This is dated today. This is breaking news, and if you probably not going to hear it anywhere else, so I hope you're listening up. This is from judicialwatch.org. This is so unbelievable, I can't hardly stand it. The title: Twice deported illegal alien with terror ties, DUI convictions, gets a sweetheart plea deal. Let me read what is wrote at Judicial Watch. The twice deported illegal alien who plotted a Chicago truck bombing with two of the FBI's most wanted terrorists has received a sweetheart deal for another violation of U.S. Federal Law 18 U.S.C. 1326, which is unlawful reentry of a removed alien. In a federal court hearing covered by Judicial Watch, Hector Pedro's Huerta appeared before the same judge, Frank Montavio, in El Paso, Texas, that also presided over another one of his immigration cases in 2009. After conducting an off-the-record meeting with Hector's attorneys, the judge issued concurrent sentences of 8 to 15 months with no deportations or supervised release for the illegal alien. Judicial Watch says immigrant, I say alien. A restricted courtroom record labeled sealed statement of reasons for this illegal alien criminal in the proceedings probably contains the facts that American public deserves to know about Hector's criminality and perhaps even his pledge of future cooperation with law enforcement and counter-terror officials. Are you serious? His latest arrest, reported by Judicial Watch back in August, was for driving under the influence, a crime he has twice been convicted of in 2009 and 11. Deportation supposedly followed the convictions. Thus, the two charges of unlawful re-entry of a removed alien was before this one. In this recent DUI, the feds quickly took it over, charging him for the third time in 5 years with a re-entry of a deported alien. The recent plea hearing by this judge was held in mid-December. And it was punctuated by events that a veteran law enforcement officer confirmed to be irregular. Irregular, I call this just bull crap. What happened is that at the hearing, that was only 5 of that day and the shortest in the morning, the judge came off the bench, met with Hector's 2 defense attorneys off the record for several minutes. In his courtroom and in a private side meeting, he did not enter into official court records. The prosecutor sat in the courtroom and watched the whole thing happen and didn't participate in any way. The judge returned to the bench, simply announced that Hector was to receive 2 sentences of 8 and 15 months to be served consecutively. No deportation, no supervised release. That Judicial Watch has obtained the official court transcript. Just a moment here. He's received the transcript. No rebuttal from the defendant or the prosecutor about the sentence, the terms, or the conditions. Nothing. A federal plea deal followed by a February 6th plea for the last year's driving while intoxicated charges. And what did he get that time? He was sentenced to 50 days timed served. What in the hell is going on? The good news is that Hector is still incarcerated. Unfortunately, his sidekick, fellow narco-terrorist ringleader, Imad Karakaha, appears to be on the loose following his recent release from the Cook County jail. You guys we can't make this up. This is an illegal alien with terrorist ties who has been deported twice and has DUI records. And what does he get? 8 and 15 months sentence? Are you kidding me? Where in the hell is the outrage? Where is the media? Where is Congress? And what is the next item on this illegal alien's agenda in the short 23 months that he might serve with no deportation orders, if he serves at all to begin with? This is an outrage. This is unbelievable. The guy who plotted a Chicago truck bombing with 2 of FBI's most wanted gets 23 months? Ugh. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we will be joined by my friend and guest this evening, Dave Gibson. We'll ask him about this. I'm sure Dave will have something to say. Please stay tuned. We will be right back.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Why do cities shine so bright? It's the glow of opportunities, of ideas bouncing off one another, of countless people, every one of us, striving to succeed. Right now, in cities everywhere, ideas are being born. New thinking that will put us in awe of what people are capable of. That's what lights cities up. And helping people and their ideas to burn even brighter, so that communities, businesses, and you and I can grow. What if a bank made that its job? For more than 200 years, Citi's job has been to help empower people and business. Now, around the world, it's wherever people gather, wherever ideas come alive. It's wherever you are. The world's city.
most amazing thing about the Ford Fusion isn't the way it looks. The most amazing thing is the way it sees. With blind spot technology, a lane keeping system, and a standard rear view camera, the Fusion is ready for whatever comes your way. Go prepared. Go further.
The moment you connect, you're no longer in control.
What does this guy want? No claim, no statement.
We're facing a nuclear meltdown.
This is only the beginning.
Black Hat, rated R.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Welcome back to the Ruthie Report. Thank you for tuning in. And as you know, our guest this evening that I reported at the top of the hour is Dave Gibson. Let me just share with you one more time. Dave is formerly of the Examiner, and I will let him explain that if he would choose to or not, is now reporting at Universal Free Press in the Illegal Alien Crime Report. He is a freelance writer for many years covering immigration, politics, and crime. He once made a living working on Republican campaigns and has served as a legislative aide to a Virginia state senator. He is a frequent contributor to several radio programs, including the Ruthie Report and Talk Back with Chuck Wilder show. He is also the author with Laura Leighton of a book titled Replacing Americans, the Deadly Consequences of an Open Border with Mexico. Welcome to the program, Dave.
Welcome to the Dave Report. I just want to thank all my listeners here tonight for tuning in for our inaugural show. Ruthie, I want to thank you very much for holding down the fort for me until I got back.
For the listeners, let me just share with you that Dave and I are actually very good friends besides this, and he has been warned to behave himself tonight, and this is how he is acting out. I'll get him later on it, but for tonight, what Dave and I are going to talk about...
I noticed you never admonished Congressman Steve King when he doesn't, he gets out of line.
Exactly. What we are going to discuss tonight, and I do thank Dave for being on the program, what we are going to discuss, 3 issues that I would like to get to besides whatever Dave has to add, is 1, the Haitian Family Reunification Parole Program. Will the nonsense never end? This refugee stuff is nothing more than illegal immigration on steroids. We are also going to talk about child sexual assault at the hands of illegal aliens in North Carolina, and Dave's reporting. And again, I just want to, if Dave didn't hear the beginning of the program, our thanks and gratitude to Dave for reporting on this day in and day out, on the lawlessness that sometimes is just so over the top. I get to share it with you. He writes it and I report it. There you go.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. And in all seriousness, and Rick, our good friend Rick Altman and I discussed this recently. And basically, and I, during the World War II and the aftermath, and when we saw how bad it was with the Germans have been doing the Jews, the Holocaust, there were groups of men who went out and documented and did thousands of interviews and documented all the atrocities that had taken place with the blessing of the government, the German government. And I hate that. I don't want to offend anybody, but our Jewish friends, but maybe they're comparing this to the Holocaust. But that's how I see this. We are documenting. One day, all of this is going to be righted, and there are going to be a hell of a lot of people to be punished and who will pay for this. Namely, most of all, our current Muslim leader, Barack Hussein Obama. And Eric Holder will pay for this one day. Janet Napolitano will pay for this one day. The whole cast of criminals, and not just of course not just Democrats and Republican criminals who are doing this as well. And that's what we're doing. I mean, that's how I see this role we're doing. All of you, Rick, Maria Espinoza, of course. There's a group of us who are documenting these atrocities that are being perpetrated against the American people. And, here's another outrage that CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, the other alphabet networks, PBS NewsHour, all the the millions of dollars these newsrooms have at their disposal. They're paying these reporters, the coverage they have, the reach they have. Who found this? Me. On December 18th, Obama had the Department of Homeland Security, our favorite Jay Johnson or Judd Johnson or whatever.
Jay.
How the hell do you pronounce his name?
I pronounce it. It's pronounced
spelled Jay, but
yeah, it's pronounced Jay Johnson, but Ruthie pronounces it as Jay Johnson.
Well, he was actually named after
behave yourself.
An African warlord. No, he was after an African warlord in Liberia. And true story. That's and he spelled his name Jeh, and that's how his father named him after.
Well, I don't care, but to your point of
well, here we go. Now,
no offense, not for what you're saying. I mean,
I don't care.
For Jay Johnson, I just have no time for the man. I have no time. If you can't be upfront and honest, and you want to be the Homeland Security Secretary, and this is the kind of bull crap and actions that you take, I could care less about the man, period. But to your point about this is going to be documented down the road.
Yeah.
Hell is coming, Dave. It's coming, and it's coming with a fury, and it's not going to be pretty. And when all hell breaks loose, then it's going to be, can't you already see it? It's going to be our fault for some reason. It's not going to be the fault of the Congress turning a blind eye to the lawlessness. It's not going to be epic failure and his failure to do his job. It's all of this, the death and mayhem and assaults and the families, like Maria always says, the American families, through no fault of their own, who are permanently tore apart by those that shouldn't be in the country to begin with. All of this is coming, and it's just not going to be pretty.
But here's another illegal move by Obama that the press missed. He did this very quietly. On December 18th, 2014, he had the Department of Homeland Security issue an executive order, to, quote, expedite family reunification for Haitian family members of U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents. And here's the thing. This is called the Haitian Family Reunification, here's the key word, parole program.
Yep.
Haitian nationals will be granted a 2-year parole upon application. Now, what normally happens when somebody wants to come here, and they have a legal permanent resident, and the reason we have so many legal permanent residents now from Haiti here is because Obama issued all of them temporary protected status for enough years. Another, underhanded move. All these illegal aliens. There were over 200. Was it 260 or 230,000, something like that? Haitian illegal aliens living in this country illegally. Obama, a couple years ago, since he's been in office, he's been issuing quietly these temporary protected status, and he said, it's because of the earthquake, because of the unrest in Haiti, they don't have to go back. But now they've been here long enough that many of them, it's at least 250,000 of them. That was in from a DHS report in 2011. There's more than that now. They've been here so long now. They've been here over 5 years. Obama granted them all legal permanent residency. Well, along with that, and then another, in 2012, Obama issued another temporary protected status order to another 60,000 illegal alien Haitians in this country. And God knows how many there are. There are at least three, based on those numbers, DHS numbers, there are at least 310,000 Haitian nationals living here right now under the approval of the Obama administration. Now, what normally happens, if you apply to come here, you're living in another country, you apply to come here, you try to do it legally. Well, you have to wait for 2 years before you can come here. And during that time, there are background checks, now, who knows, but there are supposed to be background checks, health checks performed in your own country. You have to be able to prove that you have some kind of a skill, or you have you have a family here, your own family here, who will support you. You have to be able to prove that you are not going to be a financial burden on the taxpayers once you get here. All this stuff. It's 2 years, but you do it in your own country. Well, what this has done now is allowing these people who are going to be coming over here, applying for all these immigrant visas, to actually wait out that 2-year parole in the United States.
Yep.
And it's never happened before, ever.
It's such a game. It is such a game. I just want to give this to the listeners so that they can look it up, because some of them like to look it up while they're listening. The Haitian Family Reunification Parole Program is actually abbreviated as HFRP. And if you guys want to look this up, this was dated October 17th of last year. You can go to uscis.gov and look it right up there. This, and I want Dave to respond to this. This is what our government, under this program, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services will offer certain eligible Haitians beneficiaries of an already approved family-based immigrant visa petitions. Oh, those that are currently living in Haiti, an opportunity to, can't you hear the music playing in the background? Already, the opportunity to come to the United States for approximately let me say this again, the opportunity to come to the United States up to approximately 2 years before their visa dates become current. And what does our government say, Dave? Why are we doing this? This is the explanation that this administration is sharing with the folks. The Haitian Family Reunification Parole Program promotes a fundamental underlining goal of our immigration system: family reunification. It also, I'm gagging as I'm reading this to you, also supports broader U.S. goals for Haitians' reconstruction and development by providing the opportunity for certain eligible Haitians to safely and legally migrate sooner to the United States. Well, isn't that wonderful?
Well, here's some more disturbing aspects of this. Now, these are old numbers I'm looking at, and that's another thing typical with the Obama administration, the Obama regime. It is very difficult to get any kind of figure, any kind of stat now about immigration, or almost about anything. It isn't about 2 years. It isn't any, but maybe 2 years old. You can't. They are very. Remember his promise to be the most transparent administration in U.S. history. It's the most secretive, and they bury reports. They delay reports because they don't want us to see them. Now, here's the thing. Just based on those 2011, 2012 numbers, there's at least 310 Haitian nationals in this country now, not citizens, Haitian nationals, who are able under this to petition family members. Now, typically, legal immigrants in this country are allowed, and you know this from every amnesty bill that's come down the pike. They all of them have in there a clause in there. They'll be able to petition up to 5 family members to join them in this country. Well, just on that, based on that number, you're talking about 1.5 million new arrivals from Haiti, basically overnight. Now, Haiti's population last year was listed at just under 10 million. You're talking about more than 10% of Haiti's population coming to this country. What is that going to do to South Florida, where most of them will be living, because that's where most of their relatives live? It is going to change, absolutely change that state. That state is not, parts of South Florida are basically unrecognizable right now. It's what they were 15, 20 years ago. But and that will absolutely, and this is what I think that the point of this is to make sure that Florida, because all these people are going to they're going to build a vote. He's going to give them. We saw that loophole. All these illegal aliens recently. They're going to be allowed to vote. We know illegal aliens vote already. Florida is always so razor thin, and this is going to put. This is what he's thinking. I think will put Florida in the Democrat column for the next 2 or 3, at least generations, maybe forever. And also, the other good news is all of these people. And I read this in the there was another executive order issued on January 28th of this year. Now, this is another, basically in secret. All of these folks, as soon as they get off the boat, or the plane or whatever, they will be eligible for food stamps. And that was another on January 28th, the Department of Agriculture issued a memo for the Obama administration stating, quote, those individuals will be eligible for SNAP benefits without a waiting period. Unlike American citizens who apply for such things or for assistance and they lose the job and they have to go through all this waiting. These people will not have to wait. They'll probably be given a food stamp debit card as soon as
upon
they
arrival
off the boat.
Yep. Now, the good news for the listeners is that this has not taken place, and USCIS is not taking applications for this until early in 2015. And who's going to handle this? It is the Department of State National Visa Center. Oh, golly gee, I knew they'd get that in there somewhere. Only the Haitians that get a written notice will be eligible. But here's the kicker, folks. Here is, besides the food stamps that Dave is talking about, for all of you unemployed Americans that really do want to find a job, here's the kicker. Under the Haitian Family Reunification Parole Program, Haitians authorized parole will be allowed to enter the United States and apply for work permits, but they will not receive permanent resident status any earlier. So Dave is telling us that what they are more or less doing is that they're supposed to apply. They're supposed to either be determined admissible or denied and wait 2 years. So, the Obama administration cannot wait to balkanize this nation fast enough, destroy everything that this nation stands for, like the rule of law. So, they're going to let them come here, and instead of waiting that 2-year period out in their homeland, they get to come here and compete with the American unemployed. And then they'll get all of the perks, all of the benefits, and then after the 2 years get their citizenship.
Right. Well, it's a further displacement of the American worker. It's a further displacement of American families. It's a further assault. Yet another assault on our middle class, which is shrinking by leaps and bounds every day. And his problem, the one promise Obama kept, he was going to fundamentally transform this country, right? The greatest country on earth, the country with the greatest health care on earth, the country with the strongest middle class on earth. We had some problems when he came in, certainly, but fundamental transformation. He's doing it he's transforming us into a third world nation through his economic programs. He's taken us back to the 1930s, the Great Depression. He is transplanting. He is importing a third world population into this country, which is completely dependent, which steals everything. When I say that, they have no right to be here. They steal jobs from Americans, and if that's not enough, they also most of them who work are getting welfare benefits. They do it illegally, and now we just saw this thing last week where Obama is going to. I mean, of course, John McCain wanted to do this for a long time too. Is going to give illegal aliens about $20,000 to $25,000 refunds in back income taxes on jobs that they held illegally.
For kids and dependents, in many of them listed living in Mexico, that do not exist. But meanwhile, Al Sharpton can owe tons of money and walk around and nothing happens to him. I would owe $1,000 and say, up yours, I'd be arrested. And folks, don't forget, all of you that have a refund coming, well, golly gee, the IRS might not be able to just get it to you right away. But hell's bells, don't worry about those Mexicans and Russians and Chinamen and every other damn country on the planet that is here illegally, because if they worked if they worked illegally against the law here illegally, well, we're going to have to give them their money. Oh, isn't that something? Dave, you said something before that made me a thought process when you were talking about healthcare, Obamacare, and it is called Obamacare. About Obamacare, that's why they're pushing this so hard. Because they have to have these socialist, communist programs all set up so that when hell's bells hits here, we've got 1.5 million Haitians screaming across the border into Florida, this is all set up. Can you imagine the Democrats trying to push Obamacare after they were here? But here's a bigger point. It's not even just some of the programs that Obama is pushing. I am beyond myself to understand why other groups that fight issues of liberty and freedom in this country are not as freaking screaming out mad as you and I and our fellow patriots are. For one example, here's one example. Second Amendment. Gun control. They have been pushing and pushing. Oh, let's say real quick, fast and furious. First, let's arrest Eric Holder for his illegal gun contraband. But, okay, Second Amendment. They are flooding this nation with people who will agree with their anti-Second Amendment sentiment. Sure. And there's going to come a day that they're going to vote, and the Second Amendment people who are staying quiet and not engaging in this illegal immigration refugee bullshit are going to have hell to pay, because there's not going to be enough of us to save our Second Amendment rights, because this socialist administration is flooding the country with those that didn't have the right to begin with.
Right. Well, that's something that our friend Rick Altman has been talking about lately, trying to convince Republicans, and NRA members and Gun Owners of America. Look, they're bringing all, like you said, Mexicans have no Second Amendment. They're not allowed to own guns in Mexico. They have strict gun control laws.
It works so well, huh?
You're only good for only the drug cartels can own the guns.
The AR-15s.
Obama sends them to them.
Grenade launchers, yeah.
And I mean, people in Haiti, they don't have. They're strict. All these countries have strict gun control laws because they have these totalitarian governments. They don't want citizens to be able to defend themselves against the criminal regimes, well, just like this administration doesn't want us to be able to do. And when these people are all able to vote, which they will be able to soon, you're not going to, and they all will vote Democrat.
Yep.
They don't. You have to when you get off the boat and you're given, welfare checks, and you're given WIC checks, and you're given food stamps, and you're given free health care, and you're able to, and you're welcomed here, even though you're coming here illegally. They're giving amnesty to criminals. Well, criminals and welfare cheats aren't big Republican voters. and those in the Republican Party who think that, like Juan McCain and Lindsey Graham and a bunch of others think that these all these Hispanic, all these Mexicans and Central Americans and whatever, they can convince them to these Republican ideals of hard work and play off. It's nonsense. It's not going to happen. They're going to vote Democrat, and that and once that happens, once he gets everybody in here he wants to, and if he gets his way with these amnesties, these people are never going home. No Republican president. I mean, I don't care who becomes president. If he gets his amnesty through, I mean, and I'm so happy. I know you were to see this federal judge in Texas, Hainan, I think.
Yep.
Slap him down and put this temporary stay at least, because that was supposed to go into effect. Yesterday, I think, was going to happen. He was going to start issuing these amnesty orders from this gigantic bureaucratic facility in Crystal City, Virginia, and just start rubber stamping, amnesties for all these illegal aliens. And
well, it was February
8th. He gets his way. We're never going to have another. This country is over.
It was February 18th.
Balkanized, like you said, it'll become balkanized.
Yep. It was February 18th, and Judge Andrew Hayden ruled late on Monday night the 16th, which has now stopped it. And really, Dave, I don't think this is going to, I might be wrong, but I do not believe that Obama will be able to push this through before the elections, only because the Supreme Court, no matter what the Fifth Court decides, because the Supreme Court doesn't want to hear it. But the problem is they are getting a pass because there is no enforcement. So I don't think Obama really gives a damn one way or the other. And to your comment,
will not be secured until Obama's gone, and it's just not going to happen. The laws aren't being enforced. The border's not secure. It's wide open. They're still coming in here. But I tell you something. I think it was yesterday. I saw him. He was sitting it was in the East Room, I think, of the White House, talking to the press like his favorite activity. And he was being asked, "What are you going to do about this federal judge?" He was more contrite than I've seen him in quite some time. And he said, we have laws, and I may disagree with it, but I can't go against. Now, he's had the federal judge last year ordered him to start enforcing immigration laws, basically order ICE agents to go back to work and start rounding people up, the worksite enforcement raids, start making arrests and deporting illegal aliens. And I remember that day, what's his name? Jay Carney, the guy I call him Doonesbury, his old press secretary, said, "Well, we disagree with that, and we're going to keep doing it," and nothing happened.
Yep.
And he's defied federal orders before, but he's not defying this one.
I think there could be hell to pay for this. And, we have to take a break here real quick for station identification, but to bring forward some of the points that you just touched on, the Republican approach to this, and even the Democrats, it really shouldn't be a party thing, but it should be a bipartisan approach, but the Republican approach to this is so asinine, I can't hardly believe it. Yeah, they will never be, like Rush Limbaugh said, the Republicans are never going to be able to out-pander Santa Claus. The Democrats are willing to give away this country. And the Republicans, it is an insult. It is an insult to the American citizenry's intelligence to take this approach. And we're going to go to break, but when we come back, we will discuss the crime, of course. But when you were talking about coming across the border because the border's not secure, last week, folks, if you weren't here, let me just remind you that the Mexican border right now, illegally, is the major entry point for Cubans. Cuban migrants now, the 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the ground, they're just coming through the Mexican border. And the numbers is, during the last 3 months of 2014, just 2 months ago, folks, nearly 6,500 Cubans arrived at the U.S.-Mexican border. And what was done? How many of you knew that? Why is our border not secured? It is, like Dave said, a transformation of America. Makes me sick. It's lawless. It's unconstitutional. I think Obama should be impeached. We will be right back.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
When I'm training, I always listen to music. For the gym, it's hip-hop. For cross-country, classical. And for jumps, I need something special. So I use my Citi Thank You Visa card for music downloads and earn 2 times the points. Plus, a little extra inspiration.
Excuse me while I kiss this guy.
The Citi Thank You Preferred Visa card. Earn 2 times the points on entertainment and dining out with no annual fee. Citi, with you every step of the way.
It's not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
The moment you connect, you're no longer in control.
What does this guy want? No claim, no statement.
We're facing a nuclear meltdown.
This is only the beginning.
Black Hat, rated R.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here. We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Welcome back to the Ruthie Report. Thank you for tuning in. We are going to bring back our guest, Dave Gibson. Now, Dave, we have approximately 17 minutes left, so I'd kind of like to shift gears a little bit. Before we went to break, we were talking about groups that best be joining in and joining the voices and demanding that our rule of law, our immigration laws are enforced. One of them we mentioned was our Second Amendment friends. Another one is, just real quickly, are all of you that are out there screaming about excessive taxes. Taxed enough already. All of you people that keep doing all of this wonderful work on how our dollars are being confiscated. Well, who do you think's going to pay for all of these people coming in illegally or circumventing legal immigration with what's called a refugee program? But I would like to move on. Dave, two of the other things that I would like to address, and you let me know how you would like to, if you have a way of addressing this that you would like tonight. I would like to just briefly touch on the terrorist cells in this, game that they're playing in Washington with the DHS funding. And then, of course, I would like to get to the crime reporting that we are ever so grateful for. Do you have one or the other that you would prefer to do first?
Well, I've got something pulled up here now. I can tell you about the crime. And I did the North Carolina illegal alien crime study for the fall edition. It was published in the fall edition of Social Contract.
I have it right here.
It took me about a year to do it. Mm-hmm. And the numbers are staggering. And I'm still, I'm still focusing a great deal of that reporting, doing my daily articles on North Carolina. And it is, what you have to remember is that, obviously, North Carolina is not a border state. The capital city of Raleigh is some 1,500 miles from McAllen, Texas, the closest border crossing with Mexico. However, because we have no interior enforcement anymore under the Obama administration, we have no actual border enforcement. Border Patrol agents have been told to pull back. And you combine that with every city in North Carolina, every major city and a hell of a lot of the small ones are sanctuary cities. And they don't report illegal alien crime to the feds. Not that it would do any good now, the ICE agents wouldn't pick them up, but it has become that state has become a hunting ground for Mexican and Central American child predators. And I can tell you, this is one of the latest things I've written about. This happened on Sunday in Pitt County, North Carolina. Now, a probation officer went to a home to check up on one of the guys, one of his charges. Couldn't find it. Nobody came to the door. He walked around to the backyard. Here's something in the shed. Opens the door. Well, it wasn't the guy he was looking for. It was this kid's 47-year-old father, an illegal alien named Martin Carbajal Vasquez. And what did he walk in on? He was raping a little 6-year-old girl on his workbench. And this is in Greenville, North Carolina. He was charged with child rape and indecent liberties with a child. He's currently in the Pitt County Detention Center on an ICE hold. Now,
Dave, I shared that last week on the program, and this, you and I have been doing this for a very long time, and there are not many things that really get to me anymore, but I did struggle last week to get through that article. The visual in my head of a probation officer looking for this sexual, deviant, puke, illegal alien's son that is on probation. That's why he was there, was looking for the son, and to walk in on this 47, you said, right? Raping a 6-year-old, I did struggle last week to get that out. It makes me so physically sick.
I know you had James Johnson on the show recently.
Yes.
And James is a good friend. He's a real patriot, and he works his rear end off. And honestly, without James Johnson and Maureen Wilson. And NC Fire in North Carolina, I couldn't have done the crime study. I couldn't do all of this. They do so much work helping with these. They scour through these police reports every day, the court reports, the dockets, and the ice holds, and there are 100 counties in North Carolina. It's a lot of work. But here's what's staggering. Between November 1st, 2013, and January 31st, 2015, there were 5,065 counts of child sexual assaults filed against illegal aliens in North Carolina. 5,000
in one state, folks.
Yeah. Now that if it's this bad, and this tells me, the question here becomes: if it's this bad in North Carolina, this far away from Mexico, how bad is it in California? Being run by the elite, the illegal alien welcome wagon. How bad is it for kids in California and Texas and Arizona? We're living right on the border there. How bad is it for those kids? The thing about this, now I know from doing a lot of research and at one time being in law enforcement, only about 10% of sexual assaults are ever reported. And because there's so much stigma, and if the kid or the woman, whoever it is, gets on the witness stand, the defense lawyer will try to tear them apart, and if it's a woman, try to portray her as a slut, or she somehow deserved to get molested or raped by this subhuman, and they don't want to go through it. Now, only
it's the real war on women, Dave. It's the real war on women. It is so disgusting. What in the hell are we doing to our youth?
Well, you think about this now. In North Carolina, just in what's he's got what time? I don't know. A year, a little over a year and a half, maybe less than a year and a half time. 5,000 charges of child sexual assault by illegal aliens. Well, going by the FBI's own numbers, and everybody who works in this field, if only 10% of them are being reported, according to national average, you're looking at 50,000.
And what's happening?
Child sexual assaults in a year and a half in one state, just by illegal aliens.
And for those
what we are doing is we are forever damaging an entire generation of children. I mean, when a kid is sexually assaulted, it's not just that kid is hurt; it's the parents that have to live with the guilt of not protecting the kid that day or that moment or whatever that happened. It's every relationship that child will ever have. They'll never trust people the way they did before that. When the women, I've interviewed rape victims. Every relationship they get in, boyfriends, or husbands after that, it's very difficult. It's tainted. They can never fully trust that man. He's a good man. They can't. What they tell me is, they can't enjoy sex because of this, because of what happened to them. something that's granted us by God, one of the few pure pleasures. I mean, honest, that's what it between a man and a woman. Well, that's gone for them. Well, they will treat their children differently. They will become overprotective. They will become It is so hard, and they will never get over it. And this is what galls me. Have a president of the United States. This man, if Dave Gibson knows what's going on in North Carolina, what's going on all over this country with women and children being brutalized and raped every single day by these Mexican monsters, and this president could do something about it. He could secure the border. He could enforce immigration laws. All the crimes committed by illegal aliens are 100% preventable, unlike the ones committed by our domestic terrorists here. Why doesn't he do it? What kind of a man sits by and lets the wholesale rape of his nation's children occur when he could do something about it? I tell you what kind of man, no kind of man. And the more I do these reports, and the more this goes on, and the more I look at that smug guy in the White House, that smirk on his face, every time he's asked about illegal aliens, I think that he has, I know he's sick. We know he's a drug addict. I think that he takes some kind of sick pleasure in this.
You know who I think?
And watching these women and children being molested
I can answer your question. What kind of a man? I can answer your question. It is, if you take a giant step back and you look at what is happening here, the kind of man that would allow this to happen is the same as any other leader in a third world country. Yeah. In Mexico, women have
Western Hemisphere's version of Robert Mugabe.
It's women are really in Mexico, if you are raped and you come forward, the uphill battle, you think it's an uphill battle here in to testify and hope that somehow he doesn't get off and come back and kill you later. If you think the horrible ordeal that many rape victims, I had to testify at a rape hearing once, and it is unbelievable the games that they play in a courtroom for the rapist. I was so physically appalled. But add to that in the United States, go to Mexico where they don't care. They don't care.
Well, the age of sexual consent, don't forget now. The age of sexual consent throughout the majority of Mexico. There are 32 states in Mexico. 19 of those states, plus Mexico City, the capital city, the age of sexual consent is 12.
Yep. It's in the book. Now, again, the book is, because we got 3 minutes here, Dave, so again, the book is Replacing Americans, The Deadly Consequences of an Open Border with Mexico. It is by Dave Gibson and fellow sister patriot Laura Leighton. And it does list a lot of these crimes in there and how hard it is for women. Dave, one last thing real quick. I would like you to weigh in really fast, and I know we're shifting gears quick here, but we have Italy now stating that they are worried. What was the exact? Italian officials worry that terrorists might slip into Italy on boats that frequently sail from Libya, crowded with refugees and illegal migrants from Syria, Africa, and elsewhere. Meanwhile, we have a senior FBI official that has admitted that the United States is finding it virtually impossible to screen out terrorists that could be hiding among the thousands of Syrian refugees heading to America's cities soon. And we're bringing them. For the
Obama
life of me.
You know where Obama is bringing in a hell of a lot of them to Greensboro, North Carolina. I really believe he has something. He really has it in for the folks of North Carolina. They're bringing thousands of them to Greensboro. They're bringing him to Tennessee. They're bringing him to the heartlands. Wherever he sees strong communities, wherever he sees things that work, a large concentration of Christians and family values, that's where he wants to hit. That's what he wants to destroy. He is set to destroy this country. And the thing about Sicily, it's funny, I was speaking to someone earlier over the weekend who's from Sicily. There are a lot of very small islands around the island of Sicily. He says that they are already getting in there. They're already coming into those islands. And this is going to be, Europe is a very short boat ride away for these people.
For the life of me, I just don't understand if you are watching, you are the leader of the greatest country on the planet, and you are watching television with the rest of us and see what is happening around the globe, to refuse to secure our borders is an impeachable offense. I just do not understand it.
Obama is a Muslim. There's no question about it anymore. He is a Muslim. He sides with not just a Muslim. There's nothing wrong with being a Muslim. He is a radical Islamist. And when he refused last week to give Egypt and Jordan the targets that we had for ISIS, for these headquarters, all these different strategic targets ISIS holds. He refused to give them because he doesn't want them killed. He is in league with ISIS. Jack Keane earlier this week, retired general, very respected, suggested on Fox News that he has been, and this isn't the first time we've heard this, that he has been secretly arming ISIS. That's what Benghazi was about. They were running. The Islamist, Libyan Fast and Furious there.
I just find it irreproachable that we are watching games in Congress with our national security, which is in dire straits right now. For those that don't believe, I put out that it's a national security risk, and I had somebody actually respond back to me and say, well, what is the risk? Well, if you're that stupid that you can't figure this out, then don't listen to the Ruthie Report. Yeah, please go somewhere else. Get some more Kool-Aid.
Everything. He's insulting our only true ally in the Middle East, the only democracy in the Middle East, in Israel. It's unthinkable what he's doing with our relationship to Israel, with Netanyahu. And he's ordered his Congressional Black Caucus lackeys not to attend Netanyahu's speech. All of them a few days ago announced that they wouldn't be there. Why do you think that happened? Because Obama picked the phone up and said, "You stay on the plantation if you know what's good for you." And
I asked
Obama's anti-Semitic. There's just a question about it.
A couple shows ago, I had asked some black Americans, legal or black Americans, no illegal aliens that are black. I didn't want to hear from them, but I asked the legal or citizens that happen to be black Americans, how is this going to help you? The amnesty, which is no amnesty, but the memos. How is this going to help you? Email me. Oop, not one did. I thank you very much,